Oh, it's really cold today.
Hey, this is Anthony Davis, and this is 10 things that I've learned from 100 days of ice baths. Well, 95 technically, because my ice bath froze over at day 95. I tried to wait, whatever. It's as good as we're getting.
I'm going to give you the first and most important takeaway that I've gotten from taking ice baths. I'm going to give you that main thing right away instead of making you wait to the end of the video. The most important thing that I've learned from taking ice baths and sort of the core message of the entire process, as well as my main reasons for taking on this endeavor in the first place, is to become the Ubermensch. And if you know that term, you know Friedrich Nietzsche had this idea of the Ubermensch, which is the overman or superman. And it's much less cheesy than it sounds. The Ubermensch carries a hammer, and he represents the potential of the human being. And that by using the hammer to destroy and break down our old ideas, our faulty beliefs that aren't serving us and that are causing harm, we can use then the same hammer that we use to destroy in order to rebuild something new, something better. So both literally and figuratively, I have been becoming the Ubermensch with the hammer because, well, as you'll see here, I'm going to have to break this sheet of ice with the hammer. So I've had a lot of bad beliefs, a lot of bad ideas throughout my life, a lot of beliefs that have caused me a lot of harm, a lot of beliefs that have caused a lot of people around me a lot of harm. And I needed to break through those and not completely discard them. You know, some of the things that made me sort of a bad fucking person are also things that my weaknesses, if I look at them in the right way, under the right angle, I can sort of use them to my advantage and use them as strengths. Sort of an addiction, my addictive personality that led me to drug addiction and obviously destructive behaviors and alcoholism. Those same kinds of behaviors, that feeling of being compelled to action is going to allow me to find motivation and to succeed when I do find things that I'm passionate about and that are healthy. My tendency to criticize others and to always see the flaws in other people's mistakes allows me to then see my own flaws, and more importantly, by recognizing flaws, I'm better able to quickly correct, adapt, change course, evolve, and do better the next time. As long as I don't let it overwhelm me and dictate, me in a negative way. So be the Ubermensch. And be better today than you were yesterday. I've learned how to relax. When you first get into the ice bath, it's cold and you're gonna tense up. But if you can learn to relax there, you can learn to relax anytime something is difficult in your life. So instead of tensing up, take a deep breath and let it out. Your body wants to freak out. But if you can actually train your reflexes to, not be reflexive, and you can overcome that, and you can relax on command, that kind of power in your life when you have some kind of difficult situation, somebody's being a dick to you, your life is, you have personal interactions that require your patience and your calm mind. Yoga teaches us that yogas chitta vritti nirodha, that the state of yoga is where the fluctuations of the mind have been stilled. And I think that that is tremendously true with relationship to the breath as well. I think we can sort of indicate that based on our body, if our body is tense and we're unable to relax, then our mind is tense and we are not able to experience yoga. So I've learned how to relax. In fact, when I first started doing cold showers and ice baths, I absolutely refused. My measure of how long I would stay in was not a time, not an amount of breaths, but the quality of my breath. And I decided that I would refuse to get out of the cold shower or out of the ice bath until I could genuinely take a 100% relaxed breath with no panic, with no sense of urgency to get out, but be completely relaxed. Then I would leave the shower, or then I would leave the bath, but only once I was relaxed. I've learned kindness, softness, and trust in myself and trust in my intuition. Today, I can't do as much as I have in most other days. This is going to be a short one. Most people associate the Wim Hof breathing and the ice bathing and everything with being really, really tough and just toughing it out no matter what and just being sort of brutal. But I think that it's absolutely imperative to be kind and never force. That's one thing that Wim Hof says all the time is never force anything. And today, my allostatic load is too high. I haven't slept much in the last couple of days. I'm in my finals right now for chiropractic school, so I'm facing a lot of final exams, a lot of stress with work and other aspects of my life, and I can feel it in my body. So it's important to have self-reflection and to be able to know when you're pushing a little too hard and too high. And we don't need to hold ourselves accountable to the standards of what we could do last week, or even yesterday. And we need to allow the kindness with ourselves to be able to fluctuate with that. And we don't need to hold ourselves to a standard of what other people are doing either. Never force. Be kind with yourself. Today's a shorter one. I've learned that not everything that feels bad is bad, and not everything that feels good is good. Oh, it's really cold today. Okay. Not everything that feels bad is bad. Not everything that feels good is good. Lots of things feel bad. Working out at first can feel bad. You get sore, it's hard work. Creating a business, putting time and effort into your family, creating anything, art, anything meaningful. It takes work. You don't get the instant gratification. You don't get any of that. That sucks. That doesn't feel good. But the net good of that thing is going to be larger than if you had relied on just the things that feel good only. Similarly, things that feel good aren't always good, right? Drugs feel good. And usually that doesn't get people far, right? It didn't get me far. A lot of things feel good. Eating a lot of fucking cake feels good, and once in a while it's fine. But if that's gonna dictate your entire diet, then that's not gonna be a good fucking course of action, is it? A lot of things feel bad that are good for you. A lot of things that feel good are not good for you. We can't always just rely on those simple metrics. Think bigger than what feels good and what feels bad. So another thing I've learned is that if you have a bath outside and you're trying to do ice baths, if you have to hammer your way through the ice, if you try to do that
and then you leave those chunks of ice in there, then they will freeze, and then when it refreezes the next day, it's going to become a thicker layer of ice. And so I did that for for many days in a row, and at this point what you can see is that basically the ice has formed like these giant knobbly bits. And then that combined with Minnesota winter, where now it's headed towards I just saw a blizzard warning on our phones. Anyway, this thing is completely frozen through, and there's no ice baths for me. I even waited a few days to see if it would melt, because it got slightly warmer in the last handful of days. So I'm just going to tell you the remaining things that I wanted to tell you that I've learned in this 100-day challenge. So basically, the next thing that I wanted to talk about was tapas. So in yoga, we have this concept of tapas, which is sort of like a discipline, and you undertake a disciplined act, some kind of thing that you do, regularly, that's supposed to be very difficult, and it's supposed to give you magic powers. Now, I haven't developed magic powers, but there's a certain power that comes along with committing to something difficult, and that by getting through this challenge and by getting out of an ice bath, I find that I have an additional surge of energy and motivation and power, you could say, to be able to accomplish other tasks as well. So it sort of fuels you with this, it's like mana, which is a really invigorating experience. And that leads into discipline. And so the discipline that I show here, I've been able to show in other things for business and for school as well. So it translates into other discipline, areas of discipline. I've learned that my mind is, and I've remembered that my mind is a master of lies, that I will constantly try to deceive myself. Oh, I'll do the ice bath later. Oh, I'll commit to that thing tomorrow. Oh, I'll start eating healthy tomorrow. Oh, I'll quit drinking just right after I have this drink, that kind of shit. And you need to be aware of what a liar your mind can be. I've learned to breathe, because if you can breathe in that ice bath there, if you can take a deep breath and relax in that kind of situation, then when your life fucking sucks and you've got a million obstacles and some difficult people in your life, you can take a breath when you really need to. I do this regularly so that I don't forget pain, actually, the pain of withdrawal from alcohol and drug abuse. So if I can remember that and remember what kind of difficulty I've overcome, then I don't become complacent. And then lastly, and I think most importantly, is on this journey, it's important to remember that it's all about making progress, not being perfect. So just make progress, steady, slow progress. Don't expect to be perfect, and that's the goal. Thank you for watching. I hope that you'll take some kind of time to challenge yourself to something difficult in your own life.